Yo, what's going on, guys? It's G Miners here. I just watched an old error video from back in the day around Shadowkeep when Mountaintop, Recluse, and Wendigo were in the meta, and it covered an OG Nezarac Sin build. Watching the video made me feel super nostalgic, so I figured now that we've had Void 3.0 for a little while, I'd make an updated Nezarac's build. We are going to be getting a 300% increased ability regen just from Nezarac alone, along with some pretty decent super regen as well. So just with the exotic, we're going to be able to spam abilities and even our super. But with some updates from Void 3.0, we're also going to be benefiting off of all three of the main aspects. This means we're getting Chaos Accelerant for better grenades, Child of the Old Gods for the enhanced rifts and the debuff that comes along with that, and then we still get to run Devour so that we get full health and shields on each kill. Some of the mods we are running are also going to make our void weapons hit a lot harder, and these will also give us some pretty hefty chunks of ability energy back as well. I even took this build into the Legend campaign where I was 15 levels under power, and into the Master Lost sector where I was dealing with a bunch of champions and additional modifiers, and the build felt great. Devour is definitely strong no matter what content you're in, and the full build just revolves around using a primary void weapon. So you can always switch weapons up to deal with whatever champions are in activity. Personally, I was using Le Monarch to deal with some overloads. And we can combine this build with some Void Heavies because they will also get the increased bonuses that we're getting with any Void weapon. This is definitely one of the best builds in the game, and I'm not saying that lightly either. I think Devour is super overtuned, especially with how strong grenades are for Warlocks, so getting full health on kill and a quarter of your grenade is a bit crazy, and then also being able to constantly apply a debuff and have a weapon buff is going to be wild, especially for how easily we can do this. Starting off with our Void subclass, we're going to be running Cataclysmic Nova Bomb. I wanted a super that was good for ad clear, but I wanted it to be a burst super, so Nova Warp was kind of out of the question. In general, I think Vortex is much better, but if you're just using a Nova Bomb for clearing tanky ads, then Cataclysmic is perfect. We are on Healing Rift with this build, but Empowering Rift also works here, and you shouldn't feel too much of a difference. And then for our grenade, we are running Axion Bolt. I typically find myself running Vortex and Scatter Nades, so I wanted to change things up, and Axion Bolt is pretty solid for clearing ads, and this gets even better when they are a bit more spread out, and when we overcharge the grenade. That being said, we are running Chaos Accelerant as our first aspect. With this, we're going to be able to gain the ability to charge our grenades before releasing them for some added benefits. If you want to change your nade up, feel free to. Vortexes are going to get increased size and duration, scatters have increased projectile tracking, and then Axions are going to get an additional projectile seeker. So this is going to kill another ad and potentially even more because ads in close proximity will die to the same seeker. After this, we are on Child of the Old Gods. This is going to spawn a Void Soul whenever we place down our Rift. Shooting an enemy will automatically attach this Seeker to the location they are standing, and then any and all enemies that are within the range of this are then going to become debuffed and slowly take damage. If you choose Healing Rift, as enemies are damaged by the Void Soul, you get grenade and melee energy back, and for Empowering Rift, you now get healing, which is about half as strong as base Healing Rifts. On top of this, killing enemies that are affected by the Void Soul give class ability energy straight back. So with Healing Rift, we literally get ability energy for each ability, making the Rift come straight back as long as we get 3 kills. This is going to give us 3 fragments to work with, one of which will grant us Devour, which is going to be equivalent to having all 3 aspects. First up, we have Echo of Instability on. This is going to give us 10 seconds of volatile rounds every time we get a grenade kill. If you manage to get kills properly, this is going to be 100% uptime on volatile rounds, which are going to apply to enemies, making them detonate after a couple of shots for some additional damage. Echo of Expulsion is going to pair nicely with this and our Axion Dart, as enemies that die to void damage are now going to detonate. This will deal damage to nearby ads, so with volatile rounds, we are going to get a ton of detonations off, and like I said, with Axion Dart Seekers, we are now going to have a much higher chance to kill multiple enemies with 1 Seeker. Last up is going to be Echo of Starvation. This is going to grant Devour anytime we pick up an Orb of Power. This is another reason we went with Cataclysmic Nova Bomb. This offers decent ad clear while allowing us to burn our super really quickly. This way, we can always grab orbs to utilize Devour. And then Devour itself will give us full health and full shields on kill, give us around 25% grenade energy, and will add bonus duration to the Devour timer up to 10 seconds so that it never runs out. Taking a look over at Nezarec Sin again, anytime we end up getting a void kill, whether that is with a weapon or ability, we're going to be getting 2.5 seconds of the perk Abyssal Extractor. This is going to give us 300% increased grenade and melee regen, and then 200% increased class ability and super regen. These 2.5 seconds also stack up to 20 seconds at max, so as long as you keep getting void kills, you're going to have a huge duration in increased regen. At base, which is tier 3, Nova Bomb is going to have an 8-minute 20-second cooldown, so if we keep Abyssal Extractors up at all times, this goes down to around 2 minutes 45 seconds, and then any extra intellect you have will also increase this slightly as well. I also really enjoy pairing this build with Unforgiven. Mine has Demo and Frenzy with a reload masterwork and high cal rounds, so the reload, handling, and damage are increased. We gain even more energy on kill, and this is Void, so we gain the bonus to Abyssal Extractors along with volatile rounds. The mod setup I am currently rocking is as follows. We have Elemental Ordnance to generate Void Elemental Wells when we get kills with our Axion Dart, and then I am also running Bountiful Wells to double the amount of Elemental Wells that I spawn in. The reason that we want Elemental Wells is so that we can benefit from the mod Font of Might. Since we are on Void and we're grabbing Void Elemental Wells, this makes our Void weapons deal 25% more damage. Keep in mind, grenade kills also are going to give us volatile rounds, so with both stacking and something like Frenzy on our SMG, we are ripping through ads, and having a Void heavy weapon on will make us hit much harder against champs and bosses too. Lastly, I am running Seeking Wells. I'm not the biggest fan of this mod because I just don't think it works all the time, but I wanted to be able to keep Font of Might up without always forcing myself to grab the Elemental Wells that drop. This helps a ton in damage phases when you are trying to hit linear shots or something like that, and you don't want to stop, look down, find the well, and then go grab it. That is a ton of downtime, so Seeking Wells is perfect for this. I mentioned this was one of the best builds in the game, and I still stand by that. I used Void Lock for day 1's Kingsfall, and the only thing stronger than Devour and ability spam is Solar Warlock with ×2 restoration and a primary that causes ignitions. And even then, that build requires much more effort to get working properly and upkeep, so from a solo standpoint, I think Devour takes the cake. Nezarac is also super strong, being able to Nova Bomb every few minutes, along with the ability spam competes with some of the best crowd control options in the game right now. I'm probably going to put out another Void build centered around GMs that uses Verities in a few days, so if you guys do want to see that, make sure to drop a like and sub so that you don't miss out. We are also continuing to do speedruns over on my Twitch, along with a bunch of low mans and low man flawless clears, so make sure to come hang out if you guys are interested, or just join the Discord to hang out there and check out some of the other builds we've made so far. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. As always, have a good one. Peace.